Oh.
All right. On scene in Wyoming, the Tricer Podcast. Super stoked to be up here. There's this like special kid up here, special needs, like Make-A-Wish kid named Dylan Heide, and he's been bugging me for like a year. Like, please come home with me. Please come home with me. Like, I'll pick you up at the airport. You can stay in my house. I'll find you a buck. Just come up, please. And I was like, fine, I'll come up. We paid for my tag. He said no. I had the tag at least. But no, seriously, dude. What a cool time. My friend Dylan Heide's with me. Jake Belinda's here. We just came up here and just smashed 2 giant antelope day one. And Dylan just went above and beyond for me. If you don't know who Dylan is, he's Fish Hunt Wyo on Instagram. He's like a famous influencer. He's got like 1 million followers. He's kind of a big deal. Hey. And then, Dylan, I had 6 points. Dylan's a resident. He can draw pretty much every year. I put in for it and drew it. And Dylan said, fly out to my house. I'll pick you up at the airport. We'll make this thing happen. Threw my kid in the plane and we flew up here and we made it happen, man. So how you guys doing? What's up, Dylan?
Dude, I remember it completely the other way around. Pretty sure there's a stranger knocking on my door like, dude, I got this tag. Will you take me out? Here's $15,000 because I sell all these tripods. No, I'm just kidding. Definitely not at all. Dude, it was a good time, man. Yeah, we picked him up at the airport. Had Jake drive down. He's been hunting hard. He's a hunting fool, man. He's harder hunter than me, I feel like. He's out here grinding away, but
it's fun.
He came out here and picked up a Wyoming elk tag, so he was doing that and came down after his hunting trip in Venture up there in Montana. And yeah, tell us a little bit about that, Jake. What have you been up to?
Man, what's today? September the
26th.
Yeah, I mean it's elk season, but had to take a quick pause to go see what Wyoming antelope's all about. And you got to see it firsthand.
Oh yeah.
You know that to me, I mean I've antelope hunted twice, and that was pretty much like the best one I've ever seen. So it was better than my other 2 experiences.
Yeah, so we'll kind of recap the hunt, and then we'll go into some other stuff. But was this your first time hunting antelope in Wyoming?
No, I personally hunted a couple years ago in 2021.
Okay.
But it was with a bow on a different side of the state. Not trophy caliber bucks in that unit. So it was, yeah, I seen quite a few antelope, but nothing the size and potential that we were seeing driving around yesterday.
Every quarter mile.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had told them, like, you know what, like, we're getting to Dylan's buck, like, probably right away, but, like, I told him, like, you know, I don't want to wait a few days. I don't want to kill something the first day. Like, let's get Dylan's buck killed. And then we're, like, going down the road after killing, we both killed bucks. So, and there's this, like, spoiler, yeah, we both killed bucks. It's on the table right here. We're going down the road, and this buck's bedded, and he's just everything I want in a buck. I wanted, like, a mid-70s. Just, I didn't want a booner. I mean, I want a booner, yes, but, like, what I wanted to go home with was, like, a, you know, a great representation of the species. I wanted something a little bit weird. Mine was a little splayed out, got big old hooks on it. It was up there, and just, I had to pull the trigger day one, so we were pretty much done by, like, 11 a.m. or something.
Dude, yeah.
But, yeah, I guess let's start with Dylan and this buck, the story of this buck. What's this buck called?
Yeah, so I call him Mr. Biggs. So I've got some history with him. I went out actually on my first scouting mission back in June when I found out I drew. This like June, I don't know, 24th, something stupid in Wyoming does. They tell you like last minute, hey, you drew a tag. And you're like, okay, time to prep right now. So I went out and started scouting for antelope. It's something I love to do. Antelope hunting is my absolute favorite out of everything that I do. Maybe compared to shed hunting, it's pretty dang close, but it's just such a good time. Antelope is one of those things that not a whole lot of people I feel like take seriously, especially in the state of Wyoming, and we don't understand how, a lot of people don't understand how good you have it here in Wyoming. It's just antelope running rampant. But going back to this buck, went out and started glassing and scouting and just kind of taking a peek around, and the reason for it is because antelope stay put. They don't move. They'll stay in the same generalized little spot, and so if you can find them early, you can get on them in rifle season, or September, whatever you want to do for bow hunting and stuff. So went out on the very first scouting mission I had and found this buck literally the first day. It's normally you gotta comb through like 200, 300, 400 bucks before you find one that's 80 or close to, and dude found this one like right away, and I knew he was going to be a freaking giant, and started chasing him, just kind of getting some, not chasing him, started getting, you know, videos and glass and eyes on him and stuff like that, trying to get an idea what kind of a caliber of buck he was going to be, but knew he was a giant. He's a no-brainer. You just shoot him, kind of one of those deals. So anyway, been watching him June, July, August, and I took the hard decision of waiting on this buck and not pursuing him with my bow, which a lot of people would think that's crazy, but in the spot he was in, I really don't think there's a logical way of going in there. If you had to get it done with your bow, it's different, but I knew that rifle season was going to come around and have a lot better of an opportunity and a lot more ethical opportunity, in my opinion, to actually killing him with my rifle, just because there's so many antelope in this drainage. You're going to have one chance with your bow, and if it doesn't count, I mean, I'd rather have the rifle on the table with one chance than not. So I just, as a hunter, that's what I was more comfortable with. So that's the route I chose to go with. And so I waited and waited and waited and waited while people are, you know, I didn't tell too many people about this buck because I knew people were going to be coming in here and looking at him and stuff. He's just that big of a buck, especially around here.
Yeah, he showed me and you're like, don't show anybody.
Don't freaking show anybody.
Yeah, I mean,
we need to film this thing.
Yeah, I know you live in Pennsylvania, but please don't tell anybody.
and you were, I mean, I was getting texts since June or July, whenever you did it. You put a lot of hours into watching this buck.
Dude, yeah.
Like, to a point where, like, if you didn't get this buck, it probably would have wrecked you. Like, I know you act like, oh, it wasn't meant to be,
dude,
but, like, it would have been pretty tragic.
It would have been pretty tough, but, I mean, you know, that's the challenge of hunting, and I think that's something I kind of knew going into, which made it all the more hard, especially putting in hours and hours of work. But, you know, in life, sometimes you put hours and hours of work into something that you feel is the right decision and the right choice, and God tells you, nope, and he humbles you real quick. So that's happened in my life a few times. So I think it's one of those things that I can't sit here and tell you that I would have been clean face, like no big deal, but I'm hoping that if the I guess end result was different, I would have been humbled and been like, okay, pick your head up, let's go. Because there's tons of antelope running around.
Yeah,
I mean, you did cry when you shot it, so I have to imagine you probably would have really cried if you did it.
I don't know if I would have cried. I would have turned the gun on my filmmakers.
Tears of joy versus tears of sadness.
Sadness are good. Yeah,
tears of joy.
Tears of joy.
Yeah, I was like, dang it, I really didn't want this to happen, but it happened.
Yeah.
No, anyway, so backing up, so this whole thing happened, so didn't tell too many people about it. Walked into this area so many times, so many hours, like over 100 hours at least of scouting.
The way it laid out, exactly what you're saying though, if you can kind of picture it, it's a giant ravine and your access is from the bottom, so they can basically see you driving in. And that's why bow hunting would have been so difficult.
Yeah.
It would have been like almost impossible unless you're like hiding in like that cabin.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you would have shot that buck.
And the water source, it wasn't just one water source.
It was a whole creek.
Yeah.
So they can get water at any point.
Yeah.
So it's
So I had this laid out. He used to set up on this hill, and he could oversee, like you say, in the canyon. And the only thing I could think of is, okay, what is their, because every animal has like their strength for their sense. Elk, definitely their nose. They smell you. I don't care if you're 2 miles away, they're gone. Deer, they can hear you, and they like hunker down, but they're kind of like everything's kind of like you know, heightened really. But antelope, their eyesight, dude, unreal. If you've never hunted an animal or an antelope, it's unreal. I mean, they just see you from the furthest place away, unless they're in the rut and they don't care. You know, it's
which is what we experienced. Yeah. Like these bucks were just like, I want to have sex. Oh, shoot me, shoot me.
Literally. So yeah, but in this case, I decided to come back. I had this like vision of just coming back around and coming over the top of where he was at. Our wind was going to be bad. Again, why you hunt the antelope is because I figured the wind would be like a third sense to them. Like it's not as big of a deal as eyesight. So I wanted to get up high to sneak over the edge where they can't see you and they're looking down the canyon. And opening morning came, flat tire, right off the freaking bat.
Yeah.
Dude.
Can I say too, so outside looking in, I actually said something and I feel bad now. Like Dylan was like, this is what's going to happen. We're going to drive in. I'm going to hike to this ridge. I'm going to lay down. It is going to come light. I'm going to shoot this buck. And it was like, man, his expectations are this is how it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And he didn't even sleep. He didn't sleep the night before. This is. I mean, we'll get into the size. This is a Boone and Crockett buck. This is
It's once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime buck.
For even somebody here.
It's a once in a lifetime buck. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, so we leave the tent and we're like all excited. We're in Dylan's orange trucks. It's Hunter's orange. Get shot. Driving down the road, and all of a sudden it's like, ding, 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 and the air's going 40, 30, 20. I mean, just like big hole, big hole.
We luckily had a second truck that was coming with us, and there's
we didn't have tools.
Yeah, we didn't have tools or nothing. Long story short, couldn't get the wheel off because I'm an idiot and I don't have tools in my truck. That's typical me.
Well, he has the tools, but they're not for the custom. He has the custom
fuel assault. If you got fuel assaults, better get the freaking special little key for the.
So we couldn't get it off. So we had already dropped the spare, or just like, screw it. All 6 of us into this rental truck. Dylan gets behind the wheel, and we're doing like 80.
Yeah, so we go flying down the road, and again, I'm hoping, I hope I send it to the right people, and then not too many people didn't know about this buck, because I was all worried. The only thing that could throw this whole thing off is if somebody else was in here. So we get to the spot, nobody's there. Okay, cool, that's good.
But he is visible. But that's the thing, because he is visible from the road.
Very visible from the road.
Yeah, you
like,
could.
Very visible from the road.
You could see him in certain angles. You definitely could see him. They're definitely where he lays in the afternoon. You wouldn't see him. He's.
But if you're there in the morning, scouting,
And we'll get into it in a minute. But like, I actually told him like, people probably know about this buck, because typically when there's a big animal, like there's a big elk or a big deer, people are trying to kill this animal. This is the animal people are going to go after if they know.
Right.
So so we dropped you off. So we didn't want to bring everyone into the spot because we want to blow it out. Plus my kid's with me and he's a psycho. He's just like always talking and spinning and doing stuff. Apparently he calls an elk by doing that, or calls in antelope by doing that, because I get into my story in a little bit. he brought one in on a string. So we dropped Dylan off and we fade back. Dylan's got like probably about a mile hike, I would say.
Yeah, it's just down this big canyon before the big canyon.
And we go back like 2 miles to sit on the road and just watch Dylan. We can't see the antelope, and then all we see is like Dylan hiking in to the spot. And we see them lay down, everyone's up there, and then we're just sitting.
Yep.
And I should probably talk about, so we're sitting there, we get set up, like they're still hiking in, 2 trucks pull up next to us, look at us, because we're looking that way, and just punch it. And I'm like, holy crap, these guys are after that buck. Like, this is no doubt after this buck. And they park in the exact same spot. Now, we should premise, this buck is on private and public.
Yep.
And Dylan has permission. And this is not an easy permission to get. This is a very hard permission to get.
So much found out, yeah.
So much so the sheriff was like, holy smokes, you got permission from this guy? I'm not going to say his name. But, and so these guys are poaching. Like, I know they were going to poach this buck. They act like they weren't.
100%, yeah.
So they come in. They have the exact same plan as Dylan. Yeah. So as Dylan's coming in, I'm watching people behind him come in the same trail, down the same saddle, up behind Dylan. And we're just like, I'm actually texting Dylan like, hey, dude, there's people coming right now. Like, you better, and we can't see what's going on.
We were already on the...
So at this point, that's what I'm seeing it play out. And you're up there.
Yeah, so we get up there, and it's like wild, because there's this little strip of public all the way over here. And the reason why we went in where we did, I asked the landowner for permission for me. It's one of those things, you don't want to bug the landowner too much where you're like, hey, can my film crew, and can this guy, and can this guy, and can this guy come? You know, you probably are like, yeah, it's a little much. You know, you just ask permission, he said yes, you leave it alone. You just freaking go, right? So he knows you're there, but I did see there's this little section of public that you could cross down the big ravine and up on top, and that was kind of another reason why we went up top instead of going up the bottom. You know, we went up the ravine. It's like, okay, cool, we can shoot from public and then kill him, and if he's down there on private, I'll just drag him to public. We can get our pictures and stuff and not bug the landowner and have respect for his property, of course. So we went down and up, and then sure enough, we see him, like, it kind of took probably, 5 minutes is all to find him. not very much.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed longer than what it really was, but it really wasn't that long.
It was literally playing out exactly how it said it was.
It's the strangest thing, man. Like I said, it's almost like God's like, this is how it's going to happen. It's like, it happened. It's weird, dude. But anyway, like, you look to the left, slightly off to the left. It's like when you go to sleep, you're like envisioning like a cool moment of how you wish it would play off or play out, and it happened that way. We look to the left, tell the film crew. So we had Jake with me and Richard came along too. Richard Messmer, just a buddy of mine, tagging along for the hunt. I told him to get on the spotter, so he gets on the spotter behind me. We're trying to figure out where he's at. Okay, he's right here. Where? I don't see him. He's right here. No, he's right there. I don't see him. Okay, he's right here. You know.
Well, it's because it's first light.
Yeah, first light.
It's within 10 minutes of light, like shooting light, so it's everything's gray.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even though they're white, they still blend in that time of day.
Yeah. So anyway, we ended up getting it all like, okay, there he is. He gets on video. I'm like kind of getting position. I got these bushes in the way. I'm like, I'll take my time. You know, we got all day. You know, that's what I'm thinking in my head. You know.
And I'm thinking, dude, you better hurry up because this guy's coming to poach this buck.
Dude, I had no idea.
Right behind you.
Like I sneak down the hill, kind of like scurry down. And what's funny is like going back to the sense thing. That buck, as soon as we seen him, he's looking right up at us. As soon as we seen him, he's looking at us. Or our direction, anyway. I don't know if he truly saw us or not, but I'm almost wondering if our wind, because our wind was going straight to him, like I knew it was gonna. Wind was going straight to him. I'm wondering if he smelled us and was like, oh, there's something up there. I'm just going to kind of look out. He was not scared, though. Again, sex, baby, baby, baby. You know, he's got one thing on his mind, and there's 4 does right there. So he had like no care in the world we were out there, and the does didn't see us. So, or smell us or anything. So, sneak up. I'm like, okay, he's broadside, he's down there, and he is on private. He's like 150 yards on a private. I'll shoot him. And so I'm like getting ready. And
how far is he?
I think it was 380 yards.
360.
360.
Yeah.
Some
you're shooting, what are you shooting?
I'm shooting a 6.5 PRC with a 142 ELDX.
143 ELDX.
143, yeah, something like that.
ELDX with a burriscope and a Christensen.
Barassi PH, yeah.
Yeah.
Christensen Ridgeline is what I was shooting, yeah. So, anyway, yeah, the dead man's gun. We talked about that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we're sitting there looking over the hill and ready to go, like just breathing, and of course I'm like freaking, you know, trying to calm myself down. And
it in my perspective, it looked like he was getting ready to shoot at any moment, and I'm over there like scrambling to get the camera. I'm like, I gotta get on this thing.
Yeah.
He's not saying a word.
Yeah,
he's so focused on
trying to just
get calm down, and I'm like, I gotta get on this thing.
And to your credit, you're on him. You got on
him. Oh
him.
yeah, he's on him from the very beginning. Yeah.
This film is going to be sweet.
Dude, it's gonna be insane.
You're
it's gonna
want
be the greatest one ever.
Antelope film.
Greatest antelope film you'll ever see, hands down. I've seen them all on YouTube because I'm a pronghorn fanatic. This is gonna be the best, I promise. Anyway, so getting freaked out. I got this vinyl harness on me, and I'm laying down on my vinyl harness, and I got my crosshairs. I'm settling down on them. Got my dials sitting there. My heartbeat, boom, 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 boom. But it's just a distance where it's like, it's right on him, and then when I'm bouncing, the top of the crosshair is coming like right at the top of his back.
Well, we know when you pulled the trigger.
Yeah, it's all boom, boom. I'm like, okay, gotta time it right or something, you know, like, cause I can't slow my heart rate down, you know, it's freaking out. So anyway, sit there and slowly squeeze the trigger, just how I thought, boom, and he just, boom, dropped.
Folds him.
Just freaking folded him. And I knew as soon as it hit him, looked up, you just see a white butt, he's down. Dude, like, the wave of emotion comes over me. We're, like, stoked. I pull out my phone. Drew's like, there's people behind you. What? We turn around.
They're right there.
3 guys getting set up, like, to shoot. It was like, oh, my gosh. That, if it happened any other, if we would have stopped to change the tire, if we would have hesitated to just take our time, if I would have said, I'm going to wait till my heart rate, like, there's so many different things that could have delayed.
Let's see if he comes closer.
Yeah,
you know,
anything.
Because we're all focused, like,
looking down,
looking straight down the mountain, that ravine.
They were
right behind us.
And from our perspective, we're 2 miles away. We're using the BTX and the spot we're watching. And like, they're not jumping around like you would think they would if you shot a buck. Like Dylan sits up and kind of puts his hands like out.
He's basically saying, "What just happened?"
What just happened? And I'm thinking like, he missed.
Yeah.
He missed because you can't hear. With the one thing about Wyoming, it's so open and so when you cannot hear. Like even like shooting my broken rifle, you couldn't hear like barely loud at all. Yeah. Like being behind the gun, and we didn't know what happened, and we're just like, dude, like they're coming, like you know, and then we get the text like when we saw them when they started hugging, then we're like, oh, he killed the buck. Yeah. He killed the buck, and he texted me on the buck.
Yeah. So anyway, we turn around and we're looking, and didn't even really realize this at the moment. Were there? These guys were sitting. They were on private. They were on this guy's.
Yeah, we put that together afterwards.
Yeah, we put it together because they came over and we were just like, oh, there's people right here, and then we started. Oh my gosh, they were going to shoot that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Somebody else knew about that. You know, all these thoughts are like, this could have went way differently, like completely differently. Oh my gosh. So they come over, and then Jake and Rich are probably like, yeah, whatever, we would have got him or whatever. And I'm sitting here like freaking out. No, this is how it was going to happen.
Yeah, dude.
But they come around and start talking to them. And sure enough, they were watching that buck. They've been watching him since last year. They lived up in Jackson. came down and took a look at everything, and we're like, hey, can we come down and take a look at the bucks? Like, sure, he's on private, so just let me drag him to public and I'll let you take a look. And again, we didn't really realize where they were at until I started looking at it later. I'm like, yeah, they're definitely on private. But so we hobbled down the hill, texted them, they started flying over and to get down the hill and come over to where we were. And
it was not an easy hike.
No.
For an antelope, that's a thing. Like,
it was not an easy hike. It was like down
it's like a canyon.
Hill. It's a canyon, up a canyon. Like, to where if you tripped, you would have been rolling down this type canyon. Like, it was a good, it wasn't the steepest thing I've ever been on, but it was like,
right.
wow,
it's pretty
steeper than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Especially when you get to the top.
Especially when you're bringing a 10-year-old up there.
Yeah, poor guy. So yeah, we got down there, like I ran over there to private, grabbed him, started dragging him. Luckily, he's got these big old hay hooks, like I can just grab him and yank him and bring him over. And anyway, so I like got halfway and I'm like toasted, like, oh my gosh. My legs were jello by the time we got him to public. It was just wild, man, just wild. But got him there, everyone kind of admired him, took some pictures, and dude, is the antelope that I've been putting in hours and time for. I mean, it's
it
awesome.
boiled down to 20-minute hunt.
Yeah.
Opening day.
It literally.
But it wasn't a 20-minute hunt.
But it was, yeah, that's
it
what
was a 100-hour hunt that equaled 20.
That's what I'm saying.
Time went in before to get it done, and doesn't feel on.
And that's what's hard to portray on terms of video, like what I do. It's to show that you did all that work, and that's where you're scouting in June, July, August, all that preparation and knowing and glassing for hours going out in the mornings and stuff. And you just you kind of knew exactly where to go, and you envisioned how it was going to happen because you probably stared at that hill.
Oh yeah.
30 times.
Like, yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Not being like, well, that's exactly where I got to get to.
Yep.
Well, you know, what's crazy is that those people, they played it up, and we weren't going to poach them, we were going to all the way to the public.
Yeah.
There was a sheriff watching us the whole time. We didn't even know that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we met the sheriff at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He's like, oh, yeah, we watched you, figured you got permission. And I was like, I wonder how he got permission on that property. It's 400 permission. Yeah. Like, dude, those guys were going to poach that buck. 100%. And, it just worked out. It just worked out because, like I said, if we would have changed that tire, they would have lost it. We'd have got there, there'd been 2 trucks there. It would have been a whole different story.
Yeah.
Different dynamic.
Totally everything.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been us calling the landowner to tell them they poached the buck.
Yep.
It 100%, because we would have called. We would have been like, hey, dude, they poached this buck.
Yeah, it's sad because that could have been the way it played out. It's not,
It's not.
God willing, it wasn't. It happened the way we were hoping it would, and it, came together.
But what did he? I mean, you taped him out.
Mm-hmm.
And just for people listening, so you put perspective that he was 80.
Yeah, so I'm going to get him probably officially scored today, actually, but I think he's going to be anywhere from 82 to 84 inches.
So if people don't know antelope, that is equivalent to, what would you say?
I think we were trying to talk here, like a
370 bull.
Yeah,
370 bull.
Plus, because I think 375 is Boone.
Probably 195 buck.
Yeah.
Almost a 200-inch muley and almost a 380
We
bull.
taped him at 84 3/8 last night.
Yeah.
And we weren't giving him much.
Nope.
And that's a huge.
So I think he's going to run in that, because honestly, they're going to be a lot more strict. It's probably going to run in the high 83s, in my opinion.
Yeah, somewhere 82 to 83, just give him some room there,
But I mean, I guessed 85 1/4. So I lost. I think someone else. We all were guessing how big this buck's gonna be.
It's like what did I say? 83 5/8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny because we had all these different guesses, and the thing about it is I don't care how good of a antelope hunter you are, you can never truly field judge an antelope to a T. They're just.
Well, you're looking at them. They're never
they're
right there.
Close, yeah.
They're 500, 600, 700 yards.
Yeah, it's a long ways away.
And this is my first time ever hunting them, and the crazy thing is I shot a 75-inch buck, or 70, darn near 75-inch buck. The difference between a 75-inch buck and an 83-inch buck is astronomical, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But if you
it's
didn't
only
know,
7 inches, you know what I mean? And then I look at some of the bucks people were bringing in, and I probably shot one of the bigger bucks shot yesterday, at the butcher.
Oh, yeah.
And it's crazy, but it's only percentages, but you think it's 82 is Booner, so you're talking from 82 to 75 is an extra 20% or 15%, you know what I mean? So that's a lot of mass and size to get there, and it's got everything, man. It's got big old cutters, 6.5-inch cutters, mass. You can't put your hands around the bases, literally. I mean, it's got everything, man. It has some cheaters in there which you can't count. One of them broke off, but
that's what's why that's why you as a resident, Wyoming. I mean, antelope hunting is a Wyoming thing, and that's like you said, people take it for granted.
I think it should be a Wyoming thing that people just do, and they don't know what they just go out and shoot an antelope. That's what's like sad. Oh, hey, yeah, there's an antelope. Cool, yeah, we got our antelope. Like, good for you. There's 4 million of them, so go pick through them. You know how hard that is. Like I was telling Drew right before the hunt, it is going to be incredibly hard for someone who's never killed an antelope to just be patient and wait and wait, because
sift through them all.
Yeah, that's why I do all my scouting before season, because you can't shoot them. You go through and you, okay, yeah, there's a good one, but I can't shoot because it's not season anyway. So you just go through and you scout. That's how you're able to get a big one. Because if you were to actually, like we're in the scenario with Grace right now, we didn't find a big buck. I guarantee you she's going to get a trigger finger here soon, where she's like wanting to shoot, like I want to shoot something. But the hard part with antelope is being picky and waiting and waiting and waiting, because you're going to see hundreds of bucks that are all 75 and below, or even not even 75, like just low 70s and below.
I think most of the bucks you're seeing are probably like 65 to 70 in that unit. Like my buck was noticeably bigger than the other bucks we were looking at.
Yeah.
I wanted to wait longer, but then when Dylan was like, yeah, you probably should shoot that buck.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's go shoot. And it just worked out. We'll get into my story here in a minute.
Let's get into it. I mean, we
basically packed his antelope, we cut it up, took a bunch of pictures.
Enjoyed it.
Packed it out, and that was it. Got to the truck, and we're like, well,
all 6 of us.
Let's all 6 of us back to the same truck. It's just full. I mean, it was like a yard sale, you guys. Like it's like Dylan's truck's full of crap. This truck, there was just stuff everywhere. We're missing half our stuff. All we needed was a rifle and optics. That's all we really needed. I'm missing a tripod.
Yeah, I'm hiding all the tripods in my basement. Nobody even knows.
Yeah. So then, yeah, man. So we jump in the truck and we just start driving, and there's antelope. Go another.
Yeah, we didn't make it.
Go over 100 yards. There's antelope. Go another 100 yards. There's antelope. And we probably went to the end of that canyon that we were in. I mean, literally. Probably maybe a
3/4 of a mile.
3/4 of a mile. Maybe a mile. I don't know. Yeah. And we're just looking at bucks, and it's just awesome. But none of them were like. My thing was like I wanted it to be a little weird, and I wanted it to be a good representation of the species. I didn't want to shoot a dinker. I knew I wasn't gonna shoot a booner. Like I mean, I would shoot a booner if it came about, but I wasn't. I was just like, you give me like a mid-70s buck. Some weird stuff going on, I like the big hooks, like the heart-shaped hooks on top.
The heart, yeah.
The heart, I like the heart. Like if we see some of that stuff, like I might get excited. And we look off to our right, and we're looking at some bucks and antelope. And all of a sudden, one of the guys is like, "Dude, look at this buck bedded." And we look over, and my buck's bedded, and you just see a lot of mass, and you see like that big heart shape on him, and I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't want to shoot him." We just got done. Dylan's like, "I don't want to shoot another buck." Like. Let's just like keep looking, and then we're like, okay, this is when we made the mistake. Not the mistake, we killed the buck, but
yeah, it was a good thing though.
We get out, we're like, well, let's look at him, and we're looking at him, and I'm like, no, let's not do it. And then Dylan's like, dude, like we probably should go kill that buck. And I'm like, well, let's go get closer. Then once we got closer, we knew it was gonna happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
So this buck at this point is like 495 from the road, but we had to make a stalk on him, which is kind of cool. We probably made a 400. Where we had to go was like. They were moving, so we ended up making probably 400 yard stalk to get over to where they moved to, because they were moving like towards the east on this ridge, and we had my kid with me, and I'm like trying to tell him to get behind me. My kid's like just spinning in circles. Like I'm like, you need to be behind me. Like one thing, like when you're stalking animals, you want to use terrain, right? You want to be able to try and like, especially in terrain like this, there's going to be like little breaks you can get into. So we're getting this little break, or like. When we get low enough, you can't really see us. You might just see our hats,
Just
whatever.
look like one big blob.
And you want to have people behind, so it's like one big cow, right? Like I always say, like, let's let it look like one cow, not like
yeah. And then you
four
got the
humans.
calf, Simon. He's like out here.
Yeah, and Simon's like on the side, just like hey, like yeah,
over here.
Over here, hey, look over here, antelope. I was like, shut up. Simon. It was fun. I wish I had him on the pod right now. He's having the time. I mean, having the time of his life, dude. Just eating all the candy in the world, getting soda, drinking some Monster out of my Monsters. I mean, just like. This is the perfect hunt for a kid like Simon who's
really hope your wife's not listening to this. Like, you eating candy? What?
No, I mean.
Well, he gets him bit by the bug though. I think.
Oh yeah, he's just hooked. I just got him his first well, he has a bunch of rifles. Let's got him a Creedmoor this week, so we'll get him up here in a couple of years to do this. But so anyways, making the stock, and then we start crawling up, and we get to a point. We look over it, and this buck is like 500 yards maybe. And he's chasing these does, And I'm like, I don't want to shoot 500 yards. I'm shooting that Woodstock 30-06 this year. It's super accurate. I mean, I know for a fact that I can make that shot with that gun. But like my whole thing this year is I want to try and be close. I want to try and get under 4. It's like I'm trying to tell people like you should get under 400 yards when you kill an animal. Do your best to do it.
Well, like you're saying, it's like not an ethics thing, but it's like even though the weapons can do it, if you don't do that, shoot a long range all the time, it's not really. It's hard to justify doing that.
Yeah, and I was at the range 6 days last week. I mean, I shoot the guns a lot, but it's like I like the idea of getting closer. I like the idea of being able to crawl. So I'm like, you know, let's crawl. So now I'm belly crawling, and little to my knowledge, as I'm belly crawling, Simon is on his feet walking behind me. I don't know this, but so we're crawling up, and then as we're getting up, I finally get up there, and now we're like, probably 4:30 or something. I don't know. Another buck comes in because they were on that ridge in front of us on the right. Another smaller buck comes in, a good buck, probably low 70s, and runs my buck off. Like, I mean, way off. Like, runs him down.
800 yards.
Yeah, 700 yards over a ridge, and like he's out of our life. And I'm like, you know what? Like, we'll just lay here. Like, I'm fine. I got all the time in the world. I got the new Tricer bipod, which is phenomenal, you guys. Like, these guys are here. Bipod?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I need one.
It's sick, and we're making some changes to it. So like I'm showing a lot of pictures of it, but we're gonna make some changes to make it even better. It's, dude, this bipod came in clutch. We'll talk about that
next level, dude.
So we have it's all the way splayed out wide up on the gun. I'm just laying there. All of a sudden the buck comes back. It's like, and he's way over 500 yards away, and I'm like, I'm not taking the shot. Let's watch him. He's gonna come in.
Well, that's when we noticed. There was a doe that was 40 yards.
Dude, 40 yards in front of us.
That we did not see until she must have been bedded and stood up.
Yeah, so we got. It turns out there's like 2 or 3 does. I think there's 2 does. Two does. One doe right there, and then one like probably 50 yards, 100 yards. Yeah. And they're both there looking at us, and we're laying there. And he's coming, like he gets closer. He's like 4:30, and I'm like, this whole time I'm like Dylan, throw me numbers. I'm not going to shoot him. I'm just going to wait. Let's just take our time. It's on film. Plus, I don't want to miss on film. That's everything, too. I want to make sure I get a good shot.
Got the pressure on.
Good ethical. We have some wind. Not a ton of wind. We have some wind going. Probably like 8 miles per hour.
Yeah, he's like, what's my wind? What's my wind? I'm like, just right on. Yeah. Right on him.
So, I just don't, you know.
Which is rare for Wyoming.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was ripping today.
I mean, it's blowing at us. So, I mean, if it was left or right and you're past 500 yards, we kind of started accounting for wind a little bit. But in this scenario, we didn't need to do anything like that.
He's like 4:30. At one point, Dylan's like, "You're gonna need to shoot him. He's not coming in closer." I'm like, "Man, I'm not getting him." That's what happened. He said it, and I was like, "No, man. I think we're gonna get him closer. I think he's gonna come in across the front of us." I thought he was gonna go after this big group of does. So he comes to 4. He comes 390, and all of a sudden he just looks over at the doe right in front of us, and just takes off. I mean, like at the doe, it's 40 yards from us, and just takes off towards us, and it's like, Dylan, 330. 320, all the way, 250, 250,
and I'm like, what's going on?
I'm just dialing backwards. I'm just dialing backwards on my gun all the way. Dylan's like, just zero it. So I zeroed out, and he's coming to, this buck is spry right now. He is just like horny and like, I don't want to give this buck a chance to take off again because he's just like,
running all over the place.
He's all over the place. And so he's at 200, and he's hard quartering 2. I don't want to take very hard quarter. I don't want to take a shoulder out, so I put it right behind his shoulder. He's actually still stepping. And I take the shot and just put it right behind the shoulder. I mean, boom, thwap. You hear that thwap. I mean, like, you know we hit him. Nailed him. Bullet goes all the way through him, but then the buck takes off and goes like probably 75 yards over this ridge with the does out of sight, and we're like, I hit him, right? It's like those things where you're like, even though you know for a fact, like I know for a fact I don't miss that shot. Yeah. I know I don't miss that shot. Oh, I should say too, so my bipod was all sprawled out. When we got closer, now the bushes are away, I had just put the bipod up and just turned the legs in a little bit. And
got above the weeds.
Got above the weeds, and it was perfect. Dude,
yeah,
that bipod,
like 3 seconds, like in the crunch time when it's happening.
Well, when he's at 400, and by the time you got to 200,
it was totally
on a sprint. You're already set back up.
I was set back up, and like that bipod was so money. Like I've used a bunch of bipods. I know like it's mine, but I'm like, dude. This bipod, we are going to sell like 10,000 of those next year. It is that. It's rad. It's a rad. It weighs 12 ounces. It's the real deal. It's everything I want. I've been trying to make a bipod for 5 years now, and it's like, oh, I got it. It's close. We're going to get it there. We'll be the finish line by the end of the year. So anyways, just hammer him end to end. And I'm like, he's going to die. He has to be dead. Takes off. We're sitting there, and of course the freaking game warden pulls up. And we're just like, oh no.
Well, dude, but hold on. He runs, and the first thing I go is, oh yeah, he's on private.
Yeah. But luckily he runs onto the private that Dylan has permission on. Keep that in mind.
So because we're right beside where you just shot your buck.
Close to mine.
So it's like...
So we were on the border, and we knew Dylan had permission, so it wasn't like we knew what was going on. And we were not on private when we shot. We stayed on public the whole time. Keep in mind, I don't have permission to hunt that property, so I'm hunting on this. But I know Dylan has permission to get the buck if we get him.
She's like, go get it.
Yeah, basically. So I'm like, there's the warden. I'm like, you know what? Let's just walk back and talk to the warden before we do anything. We're not going to, like, there's nothing suspicious about, like, nothing more suspicious than not coming back to the truck, right?
Yeah.
At this point, I think the warden has watched this whole thing play out. He did not know that we shot this buck. So we get back to the truck. We're talking, and I give him my tag, my license. Simon's talking to him. The sheriff called him Captain Blondebeard. Super cool guy. Well, it turns out I am poaching because I don't have a conservation stamp.
Or a hunting license.
No, I have fearfully not. I had the hunting license, all the tags, everything, but apparently there's a conservation stamp I didn't have. He was super cool. It's like a $15 conservation stamp. He's like, dude, just go buy it right now and show me. So I bought it right there. Like, I showed him. I'm like, dude, I bought, like, literally every tag.
There was nothing else you could
buy. Like,
pretty much buy.
I don't know how I didn't buy that thing. He was super cool. So shout out to
Captain
Blondebeard.
Which is crazy. Just want to point this out. A conservation stamp is like next to hunting license as far as how important it is when you're in Wyoming. It's what they consider it to be. I can name several people off the top of my head who are not so lucky, and they're like, oh, okay, here you go. Here's your fine.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, I thought he knew I shot the buck. So I do all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get my buck. I was like, well, you already shot it? And he's like, oh, whatever. He was cool. He was really good about it. Like,
Super cool.
One thing you should know when you guys talk to Warden is, like, honesty is key. Like, I am never trying to do something wrong and never trying to poach. Like, that's what I'm telling you on the podcast right now. Like, I messed up. I didn't know I did. But, like, I went and bought, like, an access permit. I mean, I bought everything I needed to buy for this hunt, and I guess I didn't have this one thing I put to house. Now I know going forward, right? It's just so hard with all these different states. There's so many rules and so easy to make mistakes.
It's ever changing. So you just gotta, all those, when you purchase something, it always goes to like a little pop up. Just read it.
Yeah.
Because those pop ups are like new information that might be coming out.
Yep. So whatever. I bought my license. I was not poaching anymore.
Oh, another thing is your hunter safety card. So for people who don't know, I recommend to just bring a laminated, put tape on it or something, but your hunter safety card or however in your state.
Yeah.
Some states you like have Wyoming, you don't need it, but they say that you do, and it's
in Montana where I'm at. You have to have it on you while you're hunting.
Really?
So that's why I have mine in my chest harness, is because you have to have that while you're hunting in the field to be able to represent it.
Yeah, so I had to show them proof of hunter safety, which is kind of weird to shoot that on the site.
It's ironic because, like, when you apply for a tag, the first thing they ask you for is your hunter safety.
Yeah, so it's why
So
that's where he was asking for that. So I had to pull mine up off the internet and show him, like, here it is. So he's like, to screenshot it, show me it. That was fine. But super cool dude. And then he left with my tag. But he came back. Luckily he came back.
And then he gave you a ticket.
No, I was like,
you don't have your license, and you just shot it out.
Yeah, I have a tag. No. He came back, gave me a tag. Super cool guy. So shout out to I hate calling him Captain Blondebeard, but the sheriff was calling him that when we talked to the sheriff. Super, I mean, every LEO we talked to is just really fun out here and just having a good time. Again, if you're honest, you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, they're there to protect wildlife. Like, that's their end result,
So,
and as long as you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing,
they shouldn't have any reason.
Yeah, and like I said, that's why I walked back. I was like, this is what I can talk to this guy before we go and do this. Make it easier. Now he's not walking out to us.
Right.
It's freaking like 80 degrees. Just keep that in mind. It's hot out. I don't want this guy having to walk across this field in his red shirt and his jeans.
No conservation stamp? Definitely a ticket.
Definitely a ticket. Now I'm going to walk over here and get you. You saw me over there. You didn't see my trunk? So anyways, now we get everyone together. Walk back across.
Back up real fast. What we did is I did text the landowner just to make sure we could go out there, and he did text me right back. He's like, "Yep, thank you for asking. You're good to go." Cool.
Yeah, this we guys like just double, triple, just text this guy, make sure we're good. Like, the last thing I want to do, especially with permissions, you guys, is like go and just abuse it. You don't want to abuse your permissions. Like, you want to make sure it's like, hey man, this buck. We knew he was gonna be cool with it because it was.
Yeah, I mean, you shot him on public, you ran there. I already had permission. It was not a big deal, but...
We're talking 20 yards onto public.
Yeah.
Onto private. Like, it was like...
There are invisible lines out there in BLM country. It's just...
and that's the thing, though, is like, if the game warden really saw, and you ran on private, I went over there and drug it out. Not a big deal. At bottom of the line, if we got down to the bottom of it, we'd have been fine because we'd called and I'd had permission. But if he would have called the landowner, and the landowner goes, oh, Dylan's taking so and so and so and so and so in there, so and so in there, and like he didn't ask me, it's fine. But next time I go ask for permission, he'd be like, nope, you took 3 people in there. Yeah. I gave you permission. You know, so it's like one of those things. You just do your due diligence and just freaking call it a day.
All right, so now we walk up, and that buck literally died like just out of view of us. He probably went 75 yards, dead right there. We knew he was dead because the does were all looking back at him like, "Hey, come on, buddy, come on." And dead right there, man.
Well, that's what. So the guys behind us, they were at the truck, you know, our buddies, you know, Jet and them. They were like, we seen a buck run over the hill, and then another buck come out of the hill. They were like, and it was a lot smaller. It was that little guy that we seen. We even got confused. We're like, is that? No way, that's him.
You start questioning yourself, dude, when you do it. You start like, did I? What happened? And you're just like, I know for a fact where I hit the buck. I hit exactly where I was aiming. I didn't want to ruin the meat. It went end to end.
Well, that's what's cool about my job. I just quick rewatched it, and I'm like, yeah, you hit him.
Oh yeah, we watched it, and it was like, oh, and dude, the footage you guys of this buck, like, I'm running these 151 Hammer Hunters, the copper bullets, and I'm running my 30-06 factory rifle. It's dropping dimes. It's like, you know, 5/8 MOA, and it's they're going 3160, so it hit that buck going like 3,000 feet per second. I think it's 2,900 feet per second at that range, and that big 30 cal bullet, dude, it blows his body up like a basketball. It hits him. It's like.
It was like an airbag more than the basketball. Yeah. That thing was wild.
It was wild. So we get over to my buck. We'll talk about what the insides look like. That bullet literally destroyed lungs, and there were no guts left on this.
It looked like somebody took a mixer and stuck it in there.
When I gutted it, and everything just, there was no, like, no intestines. There was no intestines left. It was just gone.
Dude, yeah.
It would smell bad. It smelled bad.
That pile right by the road.
It's surprising on how far he ran after, like, seeing that.
He was just dead on his feet and just ran. One thing, if you shoot him in the shoulder, if I would have shot him in the shoulder, he would have dropped right there. Yeah. But like, I don't want to shoot him in the shoulder. Like, I didn't want to ruin that meat. I'm like, hindsight might have been better because I don't know. The meat's fine.
Just
whatever. It's dead.
Yeah.
I could have waited for him to broadside at the same time. Like, he was so spry, you guys. Like, I didn't want to blow it and have him just take off on me and like. They're not taking a running shot away from us. Like, it's just like, now, you know, just freaking, he's there, boom, done. And it made for some rat. We have him coming all the way in, slow motion, just pounding him, running off.
I'm glad I hit record when I did.
Yeah, because it was so quick.
It happened, it happened so quick.
Yeah, it made me look like I really knew what I was doing. It was cool. It was just me being lucky.
Dude.
They came in, killed him. Everybody able to go over there and check him out. We were able to carry him out whole to the truck. Put him on the tailgate, on the rental truck tailgate, and gutted him on the tailgate right there. Dude. It was nasty.
It wasn't even gutted. It was like you popped a water balloon.
Yeah, like normally when you gut an animal, like, you know, the belly's bulging, and you're worried about cutting guts. It was so deflated that it was like, what's going on here? I couldn't even get, like, normally there's pressure to use your knife. I had to, like, get my hands in there, kind of open. It was like, what the heck? It was unreal. Like, I don't want to share the pictures.
Dude.
Like, if you want to see the pictures, DM me. I'll send you a picture of what the guts look like. But it was like
the nastiest.
It looked almost like a slushy. Yeah. Like a little bit like a smoothie or something.
Freaking like all seeded up like strawberry slushy.
Yeah,
or something.
those hammers they do is you get the whole core all the way through, and it breaks 3 petals off. So they're just super lethal, and they don't leave any fragments. I really like them. I've killed probably, I don't even know, 30 animals with them now. I made a ton of animals with them. Great bullets, and they're just so easy to load. I mean, you could load a group. Literally, I just load the pressure.
You hand load a lot of your stuff.
Hand load all those, yeah. You can't buy those. So I hand load the pressure with those and drop back a grain.
See, to me, that's, I don't know, like, I think that's really cool, the hand loading stuff. Mm-hmm. My family's done it forever, but I never really learned. That's something I want to get into, but
that'd be fun. Yeah.
It's just kind of another aspect of the hunt.
Yeah. It's like processing your own game.
Yeah, it's another
which we didn't do.
We didn't do.
But Antelope's one of those things you got to take care of it like right away. It was hot.
Yeah,
but we had the luxury to, if you can do it, and take it to the processor.
Yeah, it is. There's something said about putting work in, putting public land, loading your own bullets, killing an animal, something you loaded,
taking your own animal to the processor.
We drove it to the processor ourselves. It's pretty cool. They're actually gonna process it in one day for me and be done.
Dude,
I was gonna bring it home just debone it and throw it into my kill bag. I'm bringing those kill bags home. I have 36-inch kill bag, like shot kill bags, bison kill bags. They're phenomenal. It's like my second flight this year where I'm using these things.
I gotta get some. After you showed me those, I gotta get some.
They're so legit for this thing, man. It weighs nothing. It rolls up into my carry. I put it in my check bag coming up, rolled up, and then when I go back, I'll just throw the meat in there, have meat in it, it's be 50 pounds, and done.
Well, it's just like me, so I'm from the East Coast, and I have all that meat at my uncle's place, in Montana, and I gotta take it all home, but I'm gonna hunt in between. So if I would have those kill bags now, I'd be able to take that frozen meat, put it in it, keep it frozen, like you said, for days on end, and it's not the size of cooler, like where coolers, if there's a lot of dry space that you're not using because it's hard-sided. The soft side of it, I think. After seeing them, it's something to save some space on my travel, and then on the way home, it's like, I got my meat, I'm done, I can go home.
And they're actually making, they take my feedback, which is awesome. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Like, my buddy, full disclosure, my buddy owns kill bags, Tricer creative director. And
totally biased,
So, on the bag is actually one of my hunting spots. But no, I think, we've been running kill bags forever for fishing. But I've always been a proponent of using them for hunting. And it just doesn't catch on. So now it's really taking on in the hunting. He's really getting a lot of traction in hunting. It's probably 25% of his sales. I think it'll go up. But when I flew to Hawaii, you're able to pull your meat in there, get to 100 pounds, and you can push all the air out. Yeah. So that way, the big thing is a cooler is you get to fill them with ice completely, or there's no air. So you put the ice in there, push all the air out, and you're not going to have air kills ice.
Exactly. Right?
So if you have a big Yeti, you're stuck filling that thing up with ice, and with the bag you can push all the air out. It's pretty nice.
And that's again, me from the East Coast, everybody's always trying to come up with how can I drive across country and then get my stuff back. And like you're saying, these kill bags is going to save. I think you're going to start seeing them a lot more people utilizing them. In
the kindest way possible. Most time you don't kill anything, so it's nice not having a giant cooler in your truck too. It's just a rolled up bag in the back of my, it's in my car all the time running season. So right now I run a 60 and they're 55. They're making a 45. The problem is the 60 is you could put 300 pounds. I put an elk and a half into one last year.
Wow.
But they're almost too big for flying because you can't you go over a 100-pound limit. You need a 100-pound limit with meat going back. So they're making a 45. It's 12 inches wide. It's going to be the perfect flying bag.
Yep.
I'm real excited for that one. It's a little more squared than I think it's 12 by 12. I think it's 130 quarts, something like that, or 90 quarts. It's going to be sweet. So that's coming out.
You can fit 2 antelope in one of those.
Oh, you could definitely put 2 antelope. I have the 36. It's a perfect bag for an antelope. Probably a mule deer if you cut it up. You'd have to debone though. So yeah, that's it, man. Antelope hunting, man. That was freaking fun.
Dude, to top it off, cherry on top on the drive back to the tent. The rental car. The rental truck.
Yeah, man.
Hole in the freaking tire.
Same side.
Same side. Same everything. It's
flat tire on that one.
Okay, who put something on the road here? So there's definitely something on the road, and I'm kind of scared to go back, actually.
So if you get a flat tire in Wyoming somewhere, you know where we're hunting.
Yeah.
But those 2 bucks that are sitting in front of us right now, I mean, they are, I've been fortunate and grew up in a taxidermy shop, and they are great representations of bucks.
Mm-hmm. It's a good hunt.
Yeah, and to have it happen like that, I mean, it's pretty cool.
It's always awesome when someone's there to capture it. I think is the big thing, because then you can.
You have to rewatch it.
Yeah, you get to go. You're sitting here now, but in the future, we're gonna relive that moment over and over and over and over again the rest of our lives. That's the coolest part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my kids in the video, which is awesome. We got some phenomenal. Jake, if you're looking for content, if you own a company, Jake Belinda, dude, 10 out of 10, Jake, dude, this guy is. Stuff I acted like it was mine. I took credit for it on Instagram when I posted him this morning, but Jake really took him. So
I appreciate it, man.
Dude, videographer services over here, freaking.
Jake's the man, dude.
He's the man. I like doing it. It's one of those things. I love doing it, and I get to basically hunt with you guys, but just capture it. And that's where I like hunting, so I understand when to move, when not to move, and those are those small intangibles I think that make it a little more enjoyable for the hunter, because then you don't have to worry about it. I know when I hunt with you, you're not thinking about oh, is he gonna spook this animal?
Yeah, and the real reason I knew that is because last year going to the elk hunt that we did together, that once I seen you down there maneuvering around and stuff, I'm like, he knows what the freak he's doing. I'm not even worried about it.
we brought Simon to scare the bucks. So.
Yeah, we brought Simon.
I think You
the
know,
deer.
He might have brought that one.
I think he might have brought that buck in. I don't know.
He was over there, you know, like looking at. He was looking glassing with him.
He was finding bucks. He did good, dude. He had him run those Zulu 6s, and he was just, oh, these binoculars are so good. Check these binoculars. Look at these deer. Look, look right here. He was finding bucks all morning.
Dude, but so encouraging. Oh my gosh. The first thing I seen when he comes down, Dylan, I freaking knew you were going to do it, dude. I knew it. And I'm like, I'm going to cry. Like, that's the coolest thing ever.
He's seriously the kindest kid in the world. Like, every girl at church wants to date him. Because he just has no interest in girls at all. Yeah, your daughter, but she's 3.
She's 3.
But because he's so kind. Like,
I've never seen her act like that.
He's just such a kind, like, literally, like, the kindest kid, like, the nicest kid. Like, so encouraging. So he's fun to have along. And then, you know, you got to do it. I think it's a perfect time for that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Bring him out.
Antelope hunt, in my opinion, is a great to bring your kids.
Oh, great way to have.
Because you don't have to.
Kids,
you don't have to be quiet 24/7.
No.
You don't have to worry about how loud you're walking. It's like a camaraderie.
Yeah, the wind's blowing.
It's all about hide and seek. That's
Yeah.
why it's so good, because you're like staying hidden. You can teach your kids that, but being upwind when you got a wind checker, when you got like all those other variables that are
Deer
harder
hunting's
with
tough.
deer. Yeah, completely
Way
different.
different.
The one thing I say about Wyoming is I don't even need my wind checker because it's just going. Wind's just going. Like,
you know exactly which way
I
it's
know
going.
which way it's going.
Dude,
it's coming.
oh, yeah.
It's
Actually,
going.
and the other cool thing too with antelope is like if you wanted to and you're teaching your kids and you're out just driving around, just go stalk a buck. There's a freaking million of them out there.
Yeah.
Just not even if you're gonna shoot it, just like let's see how close we can get.
Practice.
You won't get very close with an antelope, but at least gives you a good, way to kind of train a little bit.
They're visible. They're a visible thing. So to people that
Yeah.
that hunt deer a lot, or, like you guys in California, you don't see a lot of animals all the time.
Right.
No.
Here,
Dude.
Simon's like,
look at them all.
there's deer by Walmart. We never see deer by Walmart in San Diego. There's deer by Dylan. Look at that deer, Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan, he never shuts up. He's awesome. He never shuts up.
Dude, that's awesome though. Yeah, antelope, they can see you, but you can see them clear as day.
Big
Through the
white
mirage, you can see like through the heat waves. I don't care what kind of binos or whatever you're running. The heat waves, and there's a white butt moving around the hill. Oh, that's an antelope.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, fun pod. For everyone who said Dylan couldn't kill big things, we should talk about his booner freaking deer at some point too. Because last month Dylan shot a booner deer.
Last week, it was like
Just like
2
a
weeks.
week
Booner
ago.
antelope. So Dylan Booner Hyde.
Dylan. I don't like that name.
He woke up with a booner this morning. 2 of them.
Yeah.
He woke up with 2 booners.
Oh,
I told him that at the tent. He's like, "What do you mean?" We're all looking at him like, "Seriously?"
Innocent mind over here. I'm like,
Innocent mind over
Yeah, I was out hunting and just, hey, come shoot the big buck. I'm saying.
yeah. Come shoot one of these big bucks, man. That was
I don't have a
great
tag.
story.
You live here. You
Dude,
have a
I
tag.
could tell the story. You want me to tell the story?
Yeah, let's end with this. So we built a whole antelope. Dylan literally did shoot another booner animal 2 weeks ago. So let's end with Dylan's deer story. We'll wrap it up.
Okay, I'll make it as quick as possible. This is really hard to describe real fast. But so Jake, backing up like I said at the very beginning of the podcast, is out there hunting west for elk.
Yep.
And he calls me at the beginning of the year, and
The month.
hunting
Like,
season.
I called
Yeah.
you like the second day of
Of
September.
September, yeah. And I'm out here chasing deer on my side of the state, and he calls me, he's like, dude, there's some big deer over here, like, you should probably consider coming over here. And I'm like, it'd be really cool, but, we'll see. I'm chasing some cool deer over here. Well, long story short, kept saying it, sent me a couple videos and pictures. I'm like, all right, why not? I'll go give it a shot. So I drove all the way to the west side of the state, met him there at the night. We sat there and slept in the truck and in his Tusca. And next morning we hiked into this basin, and actually this is the funny part. So this basin is like full of people. Like
Yeah. People galore.
People everywhere. Jake's like, I kind of really I'd consider going in this other spot because there's gonna be people all over. And I'm like, well, the nice part about there being people is we're gonna see something, whether it be dead or alive, bullets whizzing, either way. There's gonna be people, So or there's gonna be deer running around everywhere. So there's people too. So we hike into this section. It's only like 2.5 miles deep, and for high country, that's like nothing.
It's right where I shot my buck.
Yeah.
Years
Same
ago.
spot that he went in there. Yep. So anyway, we go into this little drainage. We get in there opening morning. There's like a pretty good buck behind us
There's
up
a
the
buck.
hill.
There's a buck.
There's a buck, yeah. And like people are whizzing bullets, of course. But deer running around. There's this buck running down the hill to us. And long story short, all these different things didn't work out. And it was
This
like
opening day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's why it's
opening
Yeah,
day.
it's opening day.
So
Opening
it is
day.
bullets everywhere.
It's just like Orange Army.
Yeah,
Came out.
Orange Army. Yeah, it's crazy.
Elk were gone.
Careless people
gone.
walking down the trail with their head down, bumping deer they have no idea they're even doing, and you're just like.
You did that.
I did.
We're gonna get to it right now. So you killed this buck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually, yeah, I did do that. You're right. I had my head down. He did.
I know. That's what
mattered. So anyway, yeah. So we're hiking on our way out. Spoiler alert. Thanks, Drew. We were walking down the trail, back to the truck. You know, morning hunt's over. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, 10 o'clock. Yeah, somewhere around 10.
there. Yeah. So we're walking back down the trail, like our heads down, like my head's down.
Main trailhead.
Main trailhead. Yeah. How many people use that? 10
people probably walked in front of us.
Dude, at least.
Yeah.
At least. That's not even people before us or
Horses.
after us or people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Heavily used trail. So hiking back, and especially close to the truck, like we're 850 yards from the truck. Got my head down. I'll just start here. Just freaking Jake over here. Big buck, big buck, big buck, big buck.
Shoot him.
Shoot him, shoot him.
What?
I look up and I look back at Jet, his other videographer. I'm like, and Jet's freaking just stone face.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like looking over, I'm like, what? And I just see this deer, they're like 40 yards off the trail. He's got his head peered down through the trees.
In the shadows.
In the shadows. I can't really see a rack very well, and just pick up my binos and I look and I'm like, okay, I can see he's got a frame, he's 4 points. I have no idea how big he is. And in this area it's 4 point or less.
Yeah.
I mean, this all happened in like
4
10
point or
seconds.
less?
Or 4 point or more,
greater,
sorry.
yeah.
Or greater, sorry. So I pull out my gun, Jack went in, and I'm like, how big is he? And Jake's like, he's big, shoot him. And then in my mind I'm thinking like, okay, no offense, Jake, but you're from Pennsylvania, so what's a freaking big mule deer, you know? And I'm like, well, you know what, if Jake's saying it, whatever, we're by the truck, boom, dropped him. Well, dropped him down, he's rolling back, Jack another one in, boom. And 40 yards is like, whoa, what the heck just happened? You go from walking down the trail, dead buck. And you're like, whoa, what the heck, man? Like
This is all the here. Everybody will be able to watch this.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna put another little thing together, so
video,
you'll be able to see all the nitty gritty details.
I've seen some of it, exactly how they're talking about.
Dude.
So he must have been bumped by all his other hunters.
And I think he's just laying. He just happened to lay
Either
there.
that, or there's a meadow above him, or above that trail, right close to the truck. I think it was overlooked possibly, and he just came down and laid down in the trees too. Could have been. It's hard to say. I really have no idea what happened. It's the strangest thing. He was in the spot that you would never think that there would be a deer there, because you're almost back to the truck. The people hiking again. This is crazy. So, anyways, hiking down, shoot him, boom, dead buck. Okay, let's go up to him. And the whole time I'm thinking, and I'm like even saying it out loud, gosh dang, I hope he's a good deer, because I just like I feel like that's foolish of me to just shoot something I have no idea. You know, like I have all this time I could put into this deer hunt, and I just ended it just now, and I have no idea how. It
Opening morning.
Yeah, opening morning could be 120-inch deer, and I just dropped him. You know, turns out walking up to him, he was the cheater buck that was in there, and we're thinking possibly could have been the one that everyone was running after.
Yeah.
I also know people that have pictures of him now, which is kind of cool. He's giant, freaking huge buck. Like, for right there, and just mind-blowing. I still don't understand. Mind-blowing, dude.
Things happen for
a reason. Why it didn't play out earlier, like, it just... Dude, God is so good, man. It's awesome. But 190-inch mule deer, dude, right off the trail. It's something that people have worked their entire lives for, like in the mule deer side of things, for something like that. And they even see a deer of that caliber.
And then shoot another booner 10 days later.
Another
opener.
Yeah, I was kidding with my buddies, but I'm kind of serious. Like, maybe I should just completely give up hunting in general, because it's like, no, I have so much. But yeah, no, it's such a good time. I mean, it's the hardest pack out of my life, 800 yards.
Yeah, both of these.
Yeah, both of these, yeah. But yeah, no, it was a cool time, dude. That deer was unreal. I don't even understand how it came together. And there's still people that are like, I don't understand how this happened. Like, I know personally, there's people that go to the west side of the state, they do this, and they hunt so much for something like this. And
right place, right time.
Dude,
it happens. Some old guy shoots a 200-inch buck every year in Colorado.
You gotta hunt.
Yeah. That old guy was me. That just doesn't 190. You know, it's like
every year it
I
happens.
always said that.
Can't shoot from the couch. Well, that was a good one, Jake. Where can we find you?
Instagram and YouTube, actually.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So Jake Belinda and The Void Hunt on Instagram and YouTube.
Sweet. Dylan. Super influencer?
You can find me in the mountains. Just kidding. Probably in my house, actually. No, Fish Hunt Wyo, I got YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. Those are probably the three main things I use. So.
Sweet. You know where to find me.
Yep.
Till next time.
Off to next time, yeah. I'm going to leave for Utah in like 5 days. Go kill a buck.
Heck yeah,
I'm on a tear.
I'm gonna go use the restroom.